bushes and whatever, there's cans and bottles, and then they run over the trash out front, and
What's company policy that they pick up, because it's easy to pick up one piece of paper and 50 of them when they get mowed over. So, we'll have a talk through the services to community to make sure that, that does not continue to happen.
Yeah, we always pick up, you see me in the weekends, I even come down all the time, and I'll pick up any trash that I see always.
If you can pre-ship that with those people, that'd be
Absolutely,
great.
absolutely. We always have something to improve on, and it sounds like that's one of the items that we really need to improve on, and I assure you that we will work harder on it.
the only other question I have, I noticed in my building, my whole building,
Okay?
they sort of pick and choose which one they're gonna come and blow the inside out and get the leaves all in and out. They'll go in one and then skip three and then go in one and then skip three, and of course, I don't think they think that anybody's in where I'm at because there's an empty unit next door. And so I always have all the leaves are all in there where they cut them out and whatever, and it hardly ever gets blown out.
I don't, thank you for your concern, we'll talk with it, but I don't think they pick and choose.
I was just
I don't
watching
know
the
how
guy
that
one day, and
happened.
it was like one, then he went to the third one, then he went to the fifth one, it was like,
We'll get to the bottom of it, we'll look into it. We'll try to find out what's going on and keep it close around.
Yeah, I talked to.
Any more questions?
Any more questions?
Wilbur
Board
about
Attorney Hart.
all that.
Yeah.
And he said,
Bougainvilleas are in the front
of course,
entrance.
trees can't
The
really.
bougainvilleas,
So
they're,
nothing can impact the
they're
trees.
so
Bushes
anemic
can't.
or they're hurting. What can we do? I mean, you go to other developments and they look beautiful outside and everything. Ever since they've been planted, they have not looked good.
Your bougainvillea out front has been fertilized above and beyond our agreement. So we pulled some soil samples because we did not see them improve. They would improve for a couple of weeks and then they'll decline. They never ever did well compared to some of the other communities that, like you've witnessed. They have nematodes, which is a disease that eats through the root and it hollows out the root. It does not allow the nutrition to travel to the rest of the plant. Okay? That is a non-curable disease and a non-preventable disease. Okay? So the solution for that in that area would be to replace those those bougainvilleas with something else that's not susceptible to nematodes.
Can you guys go over that with
Absolutely.
Barry and that way you decide what would be good, good plant, a good hardy plant that's gonna take whatever the soil is not providing?
That's another thing, the sun is limited in that area because of the palm tree shade. So there's other alternatives that can be used in that area that will look real nice and presentable and almost like a showcase coming into the community. That's not the bougainvilleas that look anemic or chlorotic or whatever you want to call them. Beautiful, beautiful.
Well, I think most communities are using annuals.
Correct. Most communities in areas like that, they use an annual to keep it looking fresh and almost like a resort kind of deal where it looks fresh, very
Heritage
favorable.
Pond right now, they have old geraniums out
Mhm.
there.
So that costs money too.
Yeah.
They're annuals, so you gotta keep replacing them.
Yeah.
And then when you get a freeze, you gotta put a blanket over them.
Mhm.
But our entrance isn't as big as theirs, maybe we could do that.
Say, a lot of that stuff you can go over where it needs it, because I know,
I'll go over with James and see what he.
and see what they recommend, something that's gonna take and something that's gonna keep, instead of, that's gonna provide some kind of color or something like that. Because I know we did a walkthrough around the outside
Mhm.
prior to you guys, getting on the board and it's a lot of money as far as what it's gonna cost, but if it needs to be done to make it look good, I say let's do it. The better we look, the better it's gonna be.
Yes, ma'am.
With regard to the bougainvilleas in the front, bougainvilleas are meant to grow larger, so they should not be right in front. They should be back farther so that they can grow larger. Because if you keep cutting them down like that, they're gonna die.
We don't cut these, man, these are the Gordon bougainvilleas.
Helen
I'm sorry?
Johnson.
These are the Helen Johnson bougainvilleas, they only stay, they're very slow
Oh, they're not the
growers.
regular ones? then?
No, they're not your regular big bushy ones. They're the Helen Johnson, what they
Oh,
call
okay.
it dwarf bougainvillea.
In that case, never mind.
Sorry.
Well, if does anybody else have any questions for either Attorney Hart or Truescape? Because it's almost 7 o'clock and then we definitely have to start the meeting. Gentlemen, I'd like to thank you very much for coming.
for the invite, yeah. Look
Thank
forward
you,
to
sir.
working with you. Yes, take care. We'll take care of that.
Thank you.
It's cold.
Is there any? Thank you, sir. Unless the mechanical wrong covers the sprinklers. So, just got, all right, 7 o'clock, we're going to call the meeting to order. Going to determine the quorum. We do have a quorum. And now we're going to approve of the last minutes. Make a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
I move that the minutes be accepted as Friday.
We have a second on that. Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor?
Alright.
Aye. Minutes been approved. Treasurer's report.
All right, our February financials show an operating fund of $270,349.83. Our reserves show $96,289.99 for a total of $366,639.82. And just as an update, fees owed to the HOA at this time for the end of February are $202,326.06, which a lot of is being sought by attorneys, and some, I don't want to say deals have been made, but some people are making agreements to pay us back because they do want to stay current. So that is all working into our favor.
Motion to accept the treasurer's report. Motion made, seconded. Any discussions on the treasurer's report? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Treasurer's report then. Okay, next on the agenda is the manager's report.
Okay. We have, since 2013 October, we have able to collect about $50,000 from the delinquent homeowners. And this year in 2013, we were able to collect, last 3 months, we've been able to collect about $7,000. We are in negotiation with another homeowners, quite a big, large amount is maybe coming back again, so we'll discuss about that later on. But also, again, it's about, you've been actually, you know, from as Elizabeth said earlier, we were able to collect quite a chunk of money. Also, we have ordered, the new signs will be put up on Monday next week. This is for the pool and the dumpster area. We got a new sign at the pool. We're gonna put a dumpster sign where where people can throw out the recycles and, regular garbages, because people are having a hard time finding out which one is recycled and which one is not. So I'll try to do that. We also, the one issue we have actually has to address, about 2 weeks ago, was that we had to repair and replace about 24 water meter covers that were actually broken by people actually driving over these plastic water covers, and that's how it gets broken. And we had one instance where one of the guests actually stepped over it and almost broke her. She got a little injured. I don't know how much it was, but she was injured, and that's why we tried to. We go over the community, we repaired about 24 of them. So when you drive, make sure you be cautious on those water meter boxes. If you see any water meter boxes being broken, let us know. We try to repair it as soon as possible. We work with actually TrueScape, and they're willing to repair that at a really good cost. If they see any damage to the water meter, they'll also try to repair it at the same time. We have right now, going back to collection again, we have about 15 units at the lawyer's office right now for foreclosing or filing a liens. We have about 4 or 5 more units to be turned over to new attorneys. That is our plan right now, and we're just sending them one final notices and then giving them a 10 days, and we're going to turn it over to the attorney. That's about 4 or 5 units. We have some homeowner, or I guess one homeowner asking about, hey, why can we not put the February minutes on the website? Once the minute has been approved, then we can post it. Even though meeting was done in February, we cannot post the minutes that has not been approved. So this is one of the things that, it's not because we don't want to. Today we're going to approve it, and then, this week we'll just probably by tomorrow or within 2 days we'll try to post approve the minutes at the website. So, if you wanted to just monthly at least go back and take a look at the minutes and then see what's going on in the association. We have reviewed the satellite dish situation here. There are about 3 satellite dish that we have a problem right now. One is a vacant unit, it's going through the foreclosure, so we are sending out somebody, one of the maintenance guy go over there and take down the satellite dish. The other 2, we already sent out a violation letter. One, I have to talk with the committee members about this unit because they installed it before we have a rules to put the satellite dish on the pole. I mean, they put it way before. So I gotta talk with the committee members, see what they want to do. We have a fining committees and we have an architecture committee, so we have to get their opinion before you go moving to the next step. Okay?
I have a question.
Sure.
It's in our bylaws that they have to be on a forestry satellite?
It's not the bylaws, it's your architecture guidelines. It's not really declaration. Okay?
Now, we have currently some of the units that are up for foreclosure, we're moving forward on foreclosure.
We are moving, I sent you an email about the attorney's recommendation. About 3 units he's recommending to foreclosure. Because their bank is still at the early stages of foreclosing the units. So, and out of that, actually, one of the unit come back and then say, hey, let's negotiate. So, because it's a legal and accounts receivable issues, I just rather talk to you, give you guys an opinion on what the attorney said. You guys think about it.
The reason why I just want people to realize that we are moving ahead with some of these delinquent people, some of the ones that are not doing anything, some of the ones that just walked away. We are moving forward to one, get the bank to come come talk to us, or two, have the owners come and start and try to settle some of these accounts. And that's why I want to make sure we know.
When you say settle though, I mean, my concern is we're paying for a lawyer and doing all the work. They need to, you know, cough up the money for our expenditures. Is that figured in?
Yes.
Yeah. But you also have to think about when the unit, if the bank decides to foreclose the unit, you have to wait the option of like, if bank is being foreclosed, the unit is being foreclosed, you can only collect either 1% of the last, 1% of the mortgages or last 12 months, whichever is less. So if that's the case, if they got the mortgage of $200,000, you can only collect $2,000. Compared to they come back, you know what, I'll pay $9,000 or $8,000 instead of,
Well, they should be
$20,000.
penalized though still. I mean, they could hold you hostage. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so.
But what if everybody in here decided they didn't want to do that, and,
Yep.
and then we go to arbitration
Mhm.
or something of that nature, then you spend all the fees, and there's no incentive for that guy to get off his, you know what, and pay his bill, or whoever it may be.
Understand, I mean, that is actually, when we negotiate with them, case by case, so we cannot, because it's a legal issue, I cannot really discuss
I understand.
about that, but they fully aware of that, and that's our
It's sad
board
we have to
member's
go to
first
that far,
thing
though.
saying is, okay, we don't want it to, you know, come up the cost of the, you know, legal fees and all that.
What can we do in the future? Can we, 30 days, 90 days, can we set a limit to automatically go ahead and
Usually after 90 days,
Yeah, we
then
did
we
do
start
that.
sending, then we get the lawyers involved and start sending them the legal.
Can we actually be first lien holders? If these people owe us buku bucks,
Bank.
can't we just step in there and be the first lien
I
holder?
wish, but bank is the
Bank
first,
is always the first.
as a mortgage is first.
If it's financed, you wish.
If it's financed.
If it's not financed.
If it's not financed,
Yes.
if it's not financed, we can technically foreclose the unit and we can resell it
That's
and
what I'm
whatever
talking
the
about.
money. But that's very rare. Unless the owner, I have seen one occasion when owner passed away. And there's no one to take over the house.
We have, at Cypress Landing, we have 10 units that we've taken over and we rent out. Now,
You-
the banks can still, we don't actually own them, but we actually rent them out.
And at that point, you know, it's a judgment whether we don't have to continue paying the note either.
Yeah,
Until
we are.
it goes to court.
Yeah,
So-
we are foreclosing some units right now, and once we foreclose the unit, you'll have the title of the unit. Once you have the title of the unit, then we can rent it out,
Yeah.
until bank foreclose the unit. So while we're doing the foreclosing the unit, we have a few owners come back and say, you know what, I just wanted to negotiate with the dollar amount, or I want to get into the payment plan. So we got few units. That's how we collected almost $30,000 last 3 months because of this reason.
We've
Are
got
they
to be
sounding
careful as we
desperate
go
for
to
the
rent
money?
units out, though. There's a lot of Chinese drywall in here,
Yep.
and it's still here. We don't know which ones of the foreclosed units have got it until we get to the point where we can get into the actual unit. We don't know whether it's got it or not. So we may not be able to rent it.
I have another problem too. Talking about foreclosed or units that have been vacant forever. Because we live next door to one. We have an ant problem. I mean, I know for a fact, because I've walked in that unit, that there was food left in the sink in that unit. So I don't know if the ants are now coming from that unit or whatever, because nobody has been in that unit in a year at least. Nobody has walked in that unit in a year. So I need somebody to go in that unit and find out what kind of bug problem there is.
I don't know how we can get into it.
Do you have a key to the unit, or?
There's no lockbox on that unit, so whoever
There's a
was the
lock
last,
right now?
it's locked.
It's got a different lock
It's
on
got
it.
a different lock than the normal lock on it.
There's ants, I mean, I used the whole thing of
And it's now
sprayed
affecting-
everybody's house outside and in all the way
Yeah.
around.
Okay,
They
so
were-
there are two dead units together, two foreclosed units together, so it's obviously gone through that one, gone to that one, and now it's next to ours.
Unfortunately, I don't think we can
Because
enter
I
the
seen it back
unit
there
until they
today.
have, until we
They
foreclose.
just found
the
the
title.
way.
They usually have to be, able to go into that unit, and we just can't knock the door in or just.
No, I'm just saying,
The
what do we
only-
do? I mean, what if the hot water exploded? They'd be very
Well,
Well, that will be an emergency situation where.
Yeah, when there's an emergency situation like that, we can go in.
I thought I heard
We have a
somebody
right.
dying in there.
That's right, I heard noises over there.
For the water.
Somebody broke in.
Oh, I gotta call tomorrow, I gotta water.
I know a person that's in a business, he buys these foreclosures, and how he checks for a Chinese wall, it's a dog. It's the best he's found.
And I believe that.
Yeah.
Uh, When we get to those situations, when we actually take title for some of these units, then we'll have to do what we have to do to determine whether there is Chinese drywall or not at that point. Right now, we're not there, so.
Yeah.
But, is there anything that
That's
needs to
it,
be brought
sir.
up?
No, that's it.
Motion to accept the manager's report?
Make a motion.
Okay.
We don't need to.
No, do that. Treasurer's report.
All right, committees. We'll start off with the architectural committee. The reports.
Huh?
Do you have anything to report? Anything that you've done
Um,
during the last month?
Yes, I went around to the back of everybody's unit and measured any extended lanais. Everybody is within their own property, nobody is in the common areas. I've noticed a lot of satellite dishes, but I don't know how many were up before I started on the committee, so I don't know if, any of them had filled out forms or not, so,
Ms. Mays, right?
yes.
It doesn't matter. You cannot take common areas and use it for your own
Okay.
use.
Nobody's in the common areas.
Okay. Well, there are. Okay. There's a satellite dish in the
Well,
back.
I'm not talking about satellite dishes, I was talking about patios. There's no patios in the common areas.
Okay.
As far as the satellite dishes go, I have not checked those.
All right. There's
Do we have
there's
a
some other stuff
policy as
too.
to how far out they can go, or do we
Well,
have a policy on
that's what
satellite dishes, or-
the architectural committee sent a recommendation to Sunvast regarding, because we've been through three different, lack of a better word, three different owners, or three different owners. We never had a set policy then. So based on everything that's been allowed to happen before us, and now we're trying to find a common ground to accept those variances to allow.
You still can't allow people in the common areas. The developer couldn't even
Well,
do
that's
that.
exactly what it is, and they've made a recommendation. Do you have that recommendation with you?
I'm sorry?
Do you have the recommendation you made, you presented?
All I did was for the patios, I did not.
Well, that's
do-
exactly what we're talking about right now.
I emailed it to,
I'm in your email.
Oh,
Process.
To get that done, if you wanted to get that done, is that on the website? If you wanted to get that.
The form is up there.
Form is on the website.
The form is up there, and satellite dish, it wasn't a really issue until we terminated the Comcast contract in April, and that's when we started to have a lot of homeowners. And before then, we probably had like one or two satellite dish, and one of the satellite dishes at the time, what they approved was, okay, the wire shouldn't be, exposed, and that's the only thing they care, because they thought it's gonna be only one or two. We had a different board members at the time, it wasn't David Lanoff. But, once you have, once you terminate all the Comcast contract, that's when you got a problem.
So what is the policy on satellite dishes?
Right now, the policy is it has to be on the pole, and it's not, it shouldn't be,
Attached to the wall.
attached to the wall. And that's the only policy that we have. It doesn't really say
It can
how
be
far.
anywhere. Yeah, I mean, we've got some all the way in the back wall, there's some in the middle of the yards.
It has to be behind of the unit, that's what it says,
In the common area.
in the common area.
You can't have anything in the common area. Nobody can use the common areas to their own, that belongs to the owners. And to be able to, not even the developer can give away the common areas for use by an owner. Okay? I mean, satellite dishes, driveways, patios, anything in the common area. You cannot put anything in the common area without a vote of the members to approve it.
I was talking to a guy from Direct TV, you can have a community dish, say you have a building and there's like 30 people, well, if 10 want it, they all hook up to this one dish. Like if you put one, say, by the lake, you can come down this side and across, that way, if you have, say, 6 people, you still only have one dish, would be the best thing. It's like going along the road there, you can eliminate, what, there's 4 or 5, well, you just have one dish here. It's best to check into it, yeah.
I haven't.
Well, I
heard-
talked, that's the guy told me, I mean, because I was asking about different things, and he says, well, a lot of places, that's what they do, so they have a place that has, a complex that has 30 places, but, and every one of those people would go into that one dish.
We'll look into that.
Okay, that's gonna be looked into. Right now, we'll wait on your recommendation till we have it in hand again, and probably the next meeting.
For
we'll
the
vote on
patios?
For allowing some variances for, according to what people already have. To
Are you
make
talking
some
about
sort of
patios?
standards, yes, some sort of
Okay.
standard.
Well, I can tell you.
If I remember right, it was like, for Levitt, it was like 4
I can
feet
tell you
beyond the
off the
privacy wall.
Better talk.
For all of the Levitt homes, if you have an enclosed patio, it cannot extend beyond the privacy wall. And you could have pavers up to 4 feet beyond the privacy wall. If any bushes are impacted, they have to be relocated by the homeowner. Trees may not be impacted whatsoever. If the bushes die because of being relocated, they would have to be replaced by the homeowner. For the D.R. Horton homes, the limit was, now I can't remember if it was 12 feet or 10 feet. 10 feet. It was 10 feet beyond their lanai. And the people that do not have a lanai at all, they can have a 12-foot extended lanai. Pavers. And again, any landscaping that's impacted has to be replaced by the homeowner, but you may not do anything to trees.
I'd make a motion that we accept that as the policy for paver patios.
You have a second on that? There's a motion on the floor to accept that recommendation. Motion was made by the president, seconded by the treasurer. Any discussion on that?
So we can extend the lanai for the Levitt 4 feet.
There's a printed
Email.
recommendation
Yeah,
that
there's
she's,
email she sent
use
out.
that rather than what you're gonna get there.
For the minutes, okay.
Use her actual,
Yeah,
the
she
minutes.
wrote,
Yeah.
sent it out.
Is that going to be on the
On
website
that
as well?
pardon?
Yes.
Is that going to be on the website as well?
Yeah.
Yes, we will.
But she's recommending that lanais can go to the privacy wall for D.R. Horton.
Enclosed
For
lanai.
Levitt, and then pavers can go 4 foot beyond. Whereas D.R. Hortons can go 10 foot beyond unless they don't have lanai, that's 12 foot
Correct,
of all pavers.
correct.
And those are all based on what's already out there.
At least it gives us, all right, so there's a second. Any further discussion? All in
Yes.
favor? All in favor?
I did get a question.
Yes.
Can I make a comment? If we're gonna be putting pavers and things like that, you have to make sure two things. Make sure it doesn't affect the sprinkling system, and make sure it doesn't affect any underground watering and or plumbing.
I asked the James Lamb, the Treescape manager, and he said if you're going to be doing that, they prefer rather than you capping it off yourself, because it's going to be under your pavers, that you call them and they'll realign your irrigation system.
We should add
And that would be a personal fee.
Yeah, she'd know that.
We should add that to the guidelines then.
Okay.
Okay, we just put that part.
I just asked him when he was
Can we
here
have her add
earlier.
that to her
Thank you.
guidelines and resend them?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, can you add that?
Can you add that
Yes,
to the
I can.
guidelines and resubmit them?
Yeah.
The only thing I would comment on that is I think for the most part, that's fine. But like in the case of my house, I'm on the lake. I think if I went out 4 feet, I'd be into the landscaping for the,
Well, it's up to
So would
4
I.
feet,
Within limits.
and obviously that's, if you're over, common sense.
yeah, I mean, I think I'd be into the mulch of where the trees are. and I
Sir?
don't think I have that much when I.
As long as you're not impacting the tree, like I just.
It wouldn't impact the tree,
But it'd impact the island, the duck.
but I mean, that's where they drive the lawnmowers through. So,
Well, they would just not be able to drive their lawnmowers completely around like they do now. I just submitted some for approval today that there's a couple of hibiscus plants that are in the way of where they want to put the pavers, and they're going to have to relocate those. So the tree, it's coming out just to where the mulch is, And, you know, everybody needs to use their common sense.
Yeah.
If they think it's gonna impact that mulch area, you know, make your paper a little bit less.
Finish this, get them.
And
Alright.
it's on a, these are guidelines, so it's on a
Yeah.
case-by-case basis.
Okay, so we have a motion, it's been seconded, we've discussed it, you're actually gonna put your final draft and send it to us with the new additions. And then, all in favor
Wait a minute, again, for point of order, so the motion is to accept,
to accept the.
The addendum.
Correct.
that's the motion.
With,
We've already, yeah, it's been
So
seconded.
all this is in
Truescape,
it,
yeah.
the motion is to accept their recommendations.
Correct. Which she will be supplying
Mhm.
the final draft.
That's an attachment.
yeah, I just wanted to say thanks to Ms. Mays.
Oh,
There's
John.
two people, there's
Yeah,
John.
Ms. Mays and the John. Within a month, we had about, what, 20?
Yeah.
Almost more than 20 architecture change the application. We tried to structure a program. We had two great, committee members has been actually walking around the community and try to measure the site and try to approve it. People asking why it takes so long. Make sure they got 20 people going after the application right now. They do what they can. Now it has to be approved by the board members. Now, board meeting held once a month, so we cannot just have a board meeting every time there is a architecture change request. So try to be just understandable, and they try to volunteer, their time on this. So try to, we try to do it within a 30-day time period. So if there is when the time comes that we have to skip a board meeting, then we'll try to find other way. But right now, the process is they have to approve it, and they have to turn it over to the board members, and we approve it at the board meeting. But thank you both to John and Ms. May.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The new guidance will be in place.
This is only for the back papers.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yes. Landscape committee, unless there's something else that the architecture wants to. Yes.
Okay, the landscape, I walked through the whole property with James Lamb, and we came up with a list. There's a lot of trees that are missing, like on the end of each unit. Originally, there were, in most cases, 3 palm trees. There's some units where all 3 are completely gone, where they've died in the past and taken out. There's some with 1, some with 2. So we went through, and on his recommendation, we didn't put every single house back to 3. In fact, some I think only had 2. If you look at some of the fronts, they're like L-shaped, and they had 3, some only had 2. So we came up with a list of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 palm trees to be replaced, and 2 of the cassia trees in the back. There's one right back here where the whole tree fell over last year. They cut it off, and there's a stump sticking up in
I
the
remember
yard.
that one.
There's another one over here that's just completely dead.
And we did, on that one that completely fell over, we said, well, let's give it some time, and obviously, we've given it time, and time is not on our side, so.
And there was also, there's one area that's just complete weeds. He recommended 2 pallets of sod to replace that. And it came to $3,034 for those replacements.
There's a hole out in front, on the outside wall. Looks like there was something there. Did you notice that?
I didn't look out front. There is a couple of other holes we identified that he said he was gonna take care of. The other thing I noticed walking around, there's 2 units up here on the left where they have big plants planted out front. And they're growing up the walls of the unit, like attaching to the paint. That I wouldn't think is a very good idea. And that's,
And is that an invasive type of plant? Did James Lamb say? Because if it's an invasive plant, then we can.
I don't know if it's an invasive plant, but I would say
Obviously,
it's
it's crawling
damaging
over
our
that.
building. It's actually attaching itself to the building.
It's
going
like a
up.
rubber plant.
Yeah, well, rubber plants shouldn't be, you can't have.
2 different ones up
But
there.
it's, yes, it's attaching right to the building itself.
Can you go over that with James Lamb and see what he recommends? If he recommends having it removed, then we have to tell the
Nobody's
homeowners.
living there.
Well, I mean, I would think it's up to us if it's damaging the building. I mean, you can't, I'm sure we have plants that are attaching themselves to the building.
But at least we give anybody.
So I don't know if we just send a letter to the owner, rather than just go rip it out. I mean, maybe they can relocate it somewhere where it's not touching the building.
But
The address.
I guess what we're trying to say is, when we send the letter to the homeowner, it's already been reviewed by yourself and the landscaping company, and the recommendation would be that you need to remove it, you know? And that would probably, at that point, the owner, if it was you want to say, give me an explanation of who looked at it.
Right, and give me an opportunity, maybe I can move it somewhere. Where it's not.
Exactly. And that's fine, that's good.
That's two homes?
What's that?
Two homes affected?
Yes.
What is,
38, 4106.
Should we tell it?
And it's between 4094 and 4092.
4016, nobody lives there.
Nobody lives there. Okay, which one?
Well, but I mean, there's two doors, it might be.
4092 and
No, the Ginger's
4094,
on the
right?
other
I
side.
don't know.
What was that, 4092 and 4094?
Right, it's in between that doorway for them two, and the other one was 4106. The other thing I wanted to mention, right now, myself and Duke here are on the committee, we're both snowbirds, both leaving the end of next month. So we could really use a full-time resident to be on this committee to especially fill in the 6 months we're not here.
Do we have a full-time resident here right now that would like to be on that committee?
Landscape committee.
Landscape committee.
Bob Johnson?
You'll do it?
Awesome.
Bob Johnson. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. I'll tell
Please.
you
Please get with Barry, and then Barry and Duke, and then that way it's an easier transition. And when you guys do meet, even if they're up north and you have email communications, just make sure you include them in an email so they know what's going on out there.
Gotcha.
And when they come in here, then you can take a break and they can take over. Just kidding. All right, we have, from the landscape committee, we have a bill for $3,034. The proposal, I mean. Anybody motion to
I
accept
motion
it?
Before you do that, once you go ahead and figure, like he has, there is some holes out front, and maybe we could kick in a few extra bucks to,
Yeah, well, that is,
This
yeah,
is-
we'll-
this is-
that
yeah.
rule does take care of that problem.
I also noticed in two different spots out here, there are concrete pads. That, actually, there's one by your house, I think, that, I don't know if they were put there for some use, that was never used, they don't look like they're
Where?
being. There's one right down from your house, and there's one down here, I mean, they're big concrete.
They have like D-rings on them.
Well, they have like a piece of plastic in the middle, like something was gonna go in it, but I don't think they were ever
It's
used.
got
and-
a D-ring on it, we don't know what it is.
I know
It's right
that
in my yard.
or next to my unit, there was supposed to be a trash compactor.
Right.
And then they Xed that out and then they put in a fire hydrant. I'd rather have the fire hydrant than the
Yeah,
trash.
but I'm just wondering if there's no use for them, take them out and plant grass there.
Roberto, I think it's a vault of some sort, it's on my property.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what it is, but I think it's a vault of some sort for.
Maybe
No,
it's
they were
for-
put up, they were put up for
Yeah.
temporary mailboxes.
Yeah, I think, it looked like they're probably for
They
mailboxes.
were all temporary
Yeah.
mailboxes when they were building their way around.
Oh.
And then the post office says, put them here.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So they never
something,
took those
something
out.
that needs to be taken care
When
of
they put the new
immediately,
ones in.
maybe at some point.
There was mailboxes in there. when they were-
Landscape committee.
Let's take care of
Kathy.
this proposal, then we can release the palm trees.
I move that we accept the proposal for tree replacement.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's approve. Okay, if there's nothing else, Barry?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. And then we'll move to, I know you guys, the planning committee, but I know you guys don't like the name, so the name that you want to come up with is fine with me, but
Ted was talking about when to change the name, but it didn't bother me.
Okay.
When he gets back, he can do that. He's not here. Most of our discussion this last month was about parking. And our last meeting, we had said that we were going to ask our new attorney about what he recommended on parking? Did we get any response from him on that?
No, we have
Not yet, we're waiting for you guys to officially, so,
But we need to ask him.
Yeah, okay.
We need to set a meeting up, because there are, currently, there's so many various parking rules and regulations. Ours is about a paragraph and a half, and some of these developments are 3 pages, 4 pages of parking rules and regulations. But I think the attorney is probably our best source of determining what exactly we do need to do. Some of the communities have a sign in front of in the front community when you come in about parking. Pretty obvious that they have a towing company that they're using to police this. Towing company comes in during the night, and if there's a parked vehicle that's illegal, it's out of here. So I think that's this is our biggest concern right now.
we'll forward that to the attorney for some guidance on this side, okay?
What will help me, actually, I'll send out all the information to attorneys, but what will help me is I think I send you the rules and regulations from other association, right?
Right.
That's why you got 3-page long rules and regulations. I recommend don't use that, that's kind of, what other association use. You don't have to use that 3-page long parking rules. But what you probably wanted to do is say, hey, give me a guidelines on what you wanted to use, what kind of rules you wanted to use here. I mean, you don't want any street parking. Is it street parking allowed during the daytime, or you don't want a street parking anytime at all? So those are some of the things that.
This is a copy of one sign that one particular community was using that
Okay.
looked like a,
They just wanted the entrance and submission.
yeah.
Yeah, well, that way you
We'll get with him.
Yeah, I mean,
Where we are legally.
When you tow the car, the towing car company wants to have there's a strict guidelines, so you have to put a sign that says somewhere, like certain places, either 2 locations, one at the entrance, one at the other. They'll probably can tell me where to put the signs. But you can also, things like this, parking on the street overnight is prohibited, or is this something you wanted to follow through, or parking on the street is prohibited. You just have to give me some kind of guidelines, so he can write a good verbiage on the rules and regulations, so we can use that to tow the car away.
Yeah, but problem being too, you have work trucks coming here during the day.
I think they're exempt.
So during the day.
Service truck is
Service trucks
exempt.
aren't exempt on that.
I've got a major concern though, guys. What happens, we don't have any way for people to get an exception to the parking issue, okay? They can't park out here. What happens if I have a party and I have 5 people come in with a car?
I think they should.
I've got to have the ability to have them park here.
I think a lot of people do it, and after night, I
This
think that's
past
where.
weekend, somebody tagged a truck that was parked on the street side, not bothering anything.
But I think we need to develop a policy along with setting down the parking rules that say people can park here for a day, or they can park overnight if they get permission from somebody. What happens if you got three guests that come to town, and they've got 3 cars, and you only can fit 2 in your driveway? We've got to give these
The
people
problem
some
arises
sort
though,
of
people
relief.
want to use it during the day to go to the pool and stuff. Now you've got cars, if you've got 3, somebody else has got 3, there's no parking in the parking lot at all. So,
what do we
during the
do?
day.
It's never been.
That's never
that
happened
crowded,
once
though.
since 2006.
Never been that
But you
crowded.
wait, all of a sudden now you're saying 3, 3, and 3, I mean.
Well, I mean, obviously, if it became a problem, we'd have to re-examine it, but I've never, ever seen this parking lot half full. And I've been here
I
since
tell you
day
what,
one.
the last few days, this place has been
But you
pretty.
can't, I don't see where we can set a firm rule that says you can't have anybody park on the street unless we give them some kind of relief for people who are having guests.
And I'll tell you the danger with the towing companies is we've done it down at Cypress Landing. You have to understand, they don't make any money unless they find a car to tow.
Right.
So like, we had a rule, you can't park on the grass. Well, one guy's got one tire, on one blade of grass and gone. And then you end up with a lot of problems.
Last Saturday, I went around about 4:30 in the morning, and as I was going out, I went by to drop off some trash at the dumpster, but there were 2 vehicles parked right in the middle of the street, one on the curb and one just before that. Obviously, the one on the curb is a lot more dangerous, but they're both tying up, you know, they're so close that you have to kind of go around and weave and serpentine around the daggone thing.
That's the brand new house,
Right.
brand new building. These people are new.
And that's
I don't know where-
education, I think it's something that needs to be done to that.
Well,
And
this-
I agree with Don, there has to be some sort of relief for some of these people that come in, holidays, you know, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, where you allow, we don't have that much parking, we know that.
We don't have gas pumps
We don't have gas spots either, so.
Maybe we could designate
Yeah, would you
3 or
issue
4
a
spots
pass
as
or
gas spots
something?
out
Let them
there.
notify and issue a pass.
Yeah, but you know what, my problem is, I have, these young girls that live across a little bit further down, and these guys come with the pickup trucks and they park in the middle of the street. They park, one on one side, one on the other,
And they block
we have to
everything.
sneak in between them.
That can't be.
And, you know, I mean, I can't be going over and telling them, you know, because they're just gonna say, well, it's like one of the girls there, she was at the pool and I said, no diving in the pool. She said, I know, it's a lifeguard, so she dives in the pool. So if she's not gonna listen to me here, they're not gonna listen to the parking over there, so, you know, I mean, but every time we try to go by there, we have to sneak in between those trucks
And that becomes a problem.
And I've seen cars
So this is,
parked on the parkway
we'll take
with
the
dumpsters.
suggestion, I mean, what they're suggesting now to the attorney, let the attorney come back and actually tell us where we need to be legally, what we have to put for signage. I know that the towing company has to be within a certain amount of miles, and and the address has to be posted on that signage also. I think 10 miles or within 10 or 15, depending on the size of the city. I guess that's the way it is, right? So 10 miles or 15 miles, one of the two, but it's gotta be posted on the sign that we put out throughout, you know, in front of the community.
So once you hire them, they come through and do their own random,
It's a double-edged sword,
like you
so, I
said,
mean,
one
I think it's up to
blade of
you.
grass. and-
Right, I mean, I think you could
and-
say, only come if we call you too. I
you
would
can
think.
do that too, but that's something, let's get the ruling first from
Yeah.
the attorney,
Right.
and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
And then that way we can give you something
Well,
to.
there's state laws
Yeah,
covering
It's
this.
just, it's tough in a community like this where we don't have security,
and it's, yeah.
you know, who's gonna enforce it?
You got a lady back there.
Yes, ma'am.
We use a towing company where I work, and we make them photograph the violation the car's doing. Because we've had we've fired many tow truck companies because at night at 2 o'clock in the morning, their owners don't know what they're doing. And they get paid by how many they
Every
pick
time they
up.
go.
So we make them photograph the violation.
That's a good idea. That's actually, that's the stuff we need to
Yeah.
find out and go before we start, you know, going down the road with bulldozers.
I think if we're gonna let parking during the day, it should be limited to one side of the road, so we're not.
Right.
Well,
But who decided which car is the one side? But if this car parks
put
this
no
side.
parking
No, you
signs
said,
on
yeah,
there.
like we have a sidewalk on one
easy to
side, that
determine.
might be the side you don't
Well,
park
they
on.
used to have a
because-
sign that
Yeah, I
says
thought
no
we had
parking on one
signs
side of the road.
down here that
For
said no
long.
parking.
let's, before we start, you know, let's,
Those
a
are a lot of details.
lot of details that we have to work out with the attorney, and that's
Are we
fine,
going to-
we'll propose that to him this
Are we
week.
going to appoint any people to take care of, coming back with recommendations on first of all, what the attorney says, and how we're going to allow people who have a parking need to get relief, and what we're going to do with the towing, what our policies are with the towing company and this kind of thing?
You can make a committee to do nothing but that. That would be a good job for a committee.
Would anybody be willing to join that
Anybody willing
committee?
to join that committee?
I have a question.
Okay.
Or, actually, it's something, having done parking enforcement and that. Anybody, and it's everybody that's here, there are laws against parking at a corner, period. But especially where there's a stop sign. And over by your house there, that stop sign there, I can't tell you the number of times I have had to go out. I can't see what's coming. But people, please, if you have somebody stop at your house and you just glance outside and they're parked right on the corner, ask them to move. Because they're putting everybody at hazard there, especially with all the little kids we've got now.
We're getting a lot more. A lot of things, another concern is there's no parking on sidewalks. And
Oh, yeah.
people tend to park on the sidewalk, tend to block the sidewalk, and they forget that. On the other side, there is no sidewalk, so people can put their cars, in a certain way where they're not obstructing traffic. But I think it's more education now that we're fully developed, so we have to keep going, and that's what we have to do from this and moving forward.
I think we need to be proactive, because like you said, with guests coming over for holidays and stuff, people sometimes need to park, and I think they're parking on the sidewalks and parking, or extending their driveways, because they're trying to get more cars in. So to avoid that problem, we need to be proactive with this.
All right, I'm taking that, anybody want to be on a parking committee?
Yeah, nice job.
I'll join.
Anybody else?
One more?
One more?
I'll go.
Any comments you don't want to?
Let your wife know. Is your wife doing that one too?
Got the landscaping.
Is your wife doing that one too?
She volunteered, if he's already doing the landscaping. Did you
Somebody else
volunteer to
can
come
do it.
join us?
I don't care.
Sure.
And you find it.
Yeah, just like,
You can do it.
she sounds like she knows the towing people.
Would you like to be on that, since you've been, did you volunteer, were you voluntold?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you gonna get her name?
Can you give me your contact information before you go? Okay, give me your contact information.
You have it, James, it's shared.
Yeah, just
Can I
tell me
share
it right.
I'll do my best to share it, all right?
But between the two of you, I think you guys will have it good handle on
And
it.
what's your name?
Sherry.
So
Make
part,
sure we get a phone.
fine, so who's gonna come out with the guidelines for the parking? We will. Okay.
Let you know. Good. Anything else to add?
Yeah, I've got a lot of information for whoever's gonna get the group up that would be helpful as far as.
Are you able to, are you getting any information, any input from the manager's office, as far as letters that are being sent out?
No, we haven't had any information on that.
We haven't had a real finding yet.
All right, there is no, then that, is that it? Okay. There is no business, right? We have nothing pending? No. So now we got new business?
We had all those things, I don't know if they're all taken care of. There were, there's been discussion only, like the Phoenix and palm tree.
Palm trees are being taken care of now.
The 3897 limestone issues.
That doesn't, they were all resolved.
So everything's on.
Yeah. Okay,
And
and
what
then,
about a mailbox for the association, is there any concerns?
that one we have,
I think we can have it.
do you have a mailbox?
I think the mailbox is there, right? For the key box and the mailbox is in the basement?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Does it describe what it is?
I gotta put it on there.
Yeah, but we gotta, do we know the boxes for our mailbox at the management?
Yeah.
office?
Yeah, that's,
That's a good.
Yeah, just we have the mailbox already, we just have to describe what it is.
okay,
Need to be a little bit more specific on
Do
what
you
this
want
is
to
coming.
announce it?
Oh, yeah. We have a mailbox out there, right at the management office, where you guys can put any kind of concerns you have. We have Richard Moses come here and work every Saturday, so he'll pick it up and then, he'll either try to resolve it. Most of the time, here's the thing, I've been sending out letters, emails to everyone. If you have any kind of concern, you are always welcome to contact our management office. We've been sending out the letters to you, so you should have our phone numbers. We had almost 150 key cards program over last, either key cards or gate code for the gate system for last 3 months. So you should have our contact information.
This guy over here.
Okay, so if you have any kind of landscaping issue, contact the Sunbass. If you have any concern about irrigation problem, contact the Sunbass. You don't contact the landscaping company. You contact us, and we'll contact the vendors. We'll try to figure out whether that's a homeowner's responsibility or whether it's the association's responsibility. If it is the association's responsibility, then we'll try to resolve the issue. Okay? I'm gonna say one more time. Our email address is info at sunbass.net. Okay, that's our mailing address. no one is writing down, I guess.
Yeah, we're good.
So, you know, if you have any trouble, get in touch with us, just, you know, contact Sunbass at the, you know, website is available, and you do have your own website, which is SanSimeonHOA.com. There's a lot of information in there too, your architecture change request forms, and everything is right there. There we go.
Okay. New business. We are going to be appointing a new board member today. And Eric Vincent, if you can stand up and introduce yourself.
Eric Vincent, originally from Pittsburgh. Moved down about 4 years ago to Fort Myers. I work over at Chico's. I manage about a $250 million all in-store related expense, so payroll, store supplies, all kind of good stuff like that. Just moved into the San Simeon side over here probably 4 months ago.
Welcome.
You're taking the contractor's spot?
Select. What's that?
You're taking the contractor's spot?
Yes,
That's the open position of vacancy, right.
Welcome.
Welcome.
I think it's going to be a good addition.
I
Is there a
motion
motion?
that we accept Eric Vincent as the new board member.
A second. Any discussion on that? All in favor? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
Manage all in-store related expenses.
It's not a Chico's. For the board.
Not decided yet.
Not decided yet, okay.
We already have a board that has already title. We do have already officer here. We can have a president, we can have a, you know, vice president, we have a secretary and treasurers here already. So,
I think it's going to be a good addition.
Member at large.
You said,
Since I'm the first board member to leave, I'm gonna offer him the treasurer's duties, which we discussed in August.
Yes. So I think you guys can work together.
yeah, you guys can, you're still treasurers.
But you can work together with that, because with your background, I think it's going to be beneficial.
Yeah, I also, you know, regarding financials, I also work with Don all the time as well, so he's really good with numbers. So we have a great 3 people who can help us.
Could I ask how John got aware of the spot that was coming up and how he got into it?
John?
Is-
Eric?
I don't know.
We've been asking for the last 3 months? Since December, actually since December. If anybody wanted to fill the position, and last meeting, he volunteered, and he's got the qualifications for it, and
And is that to even out? letter?
that is just the open position that we have right now. We have
The
one
developer
open
stepped down.
position.
What we had was the developer chose to be on the board of directors when he turned over the property to the homeowners. He resigned in December, so we had an open position, and Eric is taking that open position.
I understand that. I just wondered how, you know, it came about, because I know other people that wanted to be on the board and didn't.
We've been asking since December, and
He is the only
he's
one
the only one that's actually
Come up and say, I wanted to be a board.
volunteered. That was last month, that's the last month's meeting. Welcome.
So when are the next elections for that?
Right now,
August
it's scheduled
16th.
for August, but there's a request to move the meeting to a point in time where more of the homeowners are here, and we're looking at the possibility of moving it to January.
Otherwise, we're gonna have to hold it in August.
There's just gonna be one position.
2.
2 positions open.
That one?
Because that was
Yeah.
a one-year position too.
So, you know, if none of the homeowners object, and that's probably what we're gonna do, to send out, you know, and to make it better sometime in
To hold the
January.
meeting in
To hold the meeting in January, and that way we hope to do the election at the same time. Okay. We've done the architectural change.
Can't do that.
Now, we're opening up the discussion to the homeowners on anything on the agenda items.
One thing actually I forgot to mention was that we do have a meeting with the reserve study on April 4th. That's what we have approved last meeting, and they're gonna come at 10 o'clock. I'm gonna meet here with the board members. Pretty much what at the time we're gonna discuss about, you know, how much is to it's gonna cost to replace the whole buildings, including Hortons and, Levitt unit, roof and all the common area. We try to, give them as much information at the time. So, just to give you a little heads up.
The meeting is not to do that. Their job is to do that.
Yeah.
Their job is to come in and look at the community and
Measure
to
it.
tell us what the replacement cost is for buildings, tell us what the cost is to replace the roofs, those kinds of things, so that we can then set the reserve contributions or assessments properly, so that as time goes by, we accumulate the funds so that we can replace the things we need to replace when the time comes. Right now, the only thing that we have guesstimates on are the Levitt units. We have nothing for the Horton units at this point in time. So we're going to be getting new information for Levitt, and we're going to be getting the first information we have for the Horton unit.
And this is the first time it's ever been done, so it's never been done, so it's time.
Good.
Are there any discussions open? Yes, ma'am.
Who takes care of the storm sewer drains? There's one out behind my house, and that thing needs to be cleaned out because the water's not draining out of there. And as we start getting ready to get into our wet season, I don't want to see a lake in the back behind our houses again.
There are still some that have the fabric from the construction.
Yeah, Horton needs to go through that before they call it,
No, I mean, this is down at my end
Yeah,
down there.
that's still have to go
because
through.
there was no cover. It's just
Send
a,
the developer,
Yeah, but I think we also have to clean the.
No, they have to finish up their.
Yeah, her issue is our issue.
No, I understand
Oh, yeah.
that, but those things are put in because of the construction, I guess, so it's another construction debris and stuff.
no, what I'm saying is that
Yeah.
where my house is down here at the end. Yeah, down here at the end. I have a terrible sense of direction. When the guys mow, and then we have rain, because all of our units are up high and then it drops down.
Yep.
All of the grass, all of the detritus goes into that storm sewer and blocks it. I know it was cleaned out once about 3 years ago. I think it was by the city, but I'm not sure because it was done while I was at work. But I don't know whether that is part of the city sewer system.
Can you look into that?
Yeah, usually we do it's the homeowners association's responsibility, and we do have drain cleaners, and they do this like pressure wash. They use this kind of pressure
Right.
wash to just keep cleaning the inside, and they do that.
We have somebody look at hers?
Yeah. Do
We
you
put
what's
the
your
stormwater
reading?
tax every year.
3978.
And you say you have yours from?
I know there's some around
Some of the fabric still.
Some fabrics are still there, so
Yeah.
the fabric needs to be full and all that. And
Well, this is one behind the house. This isn't one that's on
That's
the
where the
road.
swell is.
There's one little
I
big-
know,
Yeah, we
and
have a
they
problem.
still have, I think they still have that fabric in it, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No.
If they don't, they should.
Okay.
There's a storm sewer that is across the street from the new developments across from my house. It seems to dip down, and there's a lake that forms over there. It's in between the two rows of the new houses, and it's even when the sprinklers go on, sometimes there's a big lake right by that sewer.
On the street or?
It's on the sidewalk. You know where that? Yeah, it's up next to the sidewalk. You know where that pad that you guys were talking about that you thought was for the mailboxes?
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
always-
right in front of there.
It's always flooded in there.
Always.
Because the fabric's still in there.
Mine is still in there.
38,
I'm saying, we gotta
44,
look at
across the
those
street.
storm
Yeah,
roads
it's on
and
the
get rid of that
sidewalk
fabric.
side.
Especially in the DO
Where
board.
they just,
Yeah, it's a
Where they just
fabric.
right where they finished that last model, it's on.
Pouring the water?
James, this is what the backyard looked like.
Oh, the water.
Yeah, and that was the whole, all the units behind my house.
I thought it was a lake.
No, this is not the lake. This is the water that's behind our house.
That was a lake on the other side.
Have the
Okay, I got
landscaping
it.
company,
There's an alligator in there.
have them look at it, see if there's a fabric still in there, if not, then.
Okay,
pull it. You know?
so your water leak was because, is it not because the water drain, is it something
It seems
else?
like the elevation is lower and it's
Grade?
dipped down.
That's a grading
Yeah,
process,
it's a
two
grading
different
problem.
issues then.
And they flooded before they even built, because that road was always always, you don't wanna go that road, their brook.
No.
When it rains, you always wanna
But
go
it's
around the
it's not on
line.
Clear Brook, it's on Cherry Brook.
It's on Cherry Brook?
It's on Cherry Brook.
Well, the fabric's still
Right on the other side.
Yeah.
So it is a grading problem.
Yeah, it is a grading problem, and it's even from the sprinklers, not even from the rain. The rain doesn't help, the sprinklers definitely flood it.
Two slabs
Is it right at the walkway? Okay, can you take a look at it, take some pictures of I don't know if we have to send that a landscaping company?
James.
Or should I put it?
That thing still has the fabric in it.
Yeah, that's the
That one does still,
But it's not-
the sidewalk that's flooding.
Yeah, but this is not really that price, it's more like a grading issue.
Yes, yeah. It's more from the sprinklers, and then when it rains, it just gets more on top of it, and there's a puddle on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Can you just take a look at that area and see if there's any, I'm just trying to figure out which one should I send it to the landscaping company, or should I send that to somebody who's the concrete?
Yeah, it seems like it's the concrete or, whenever they developed, and they did the padding, and they redid the soil and all that, and then put the sod, it just seems like it's graded down.
That was that same area, they ripped out from 8 feet of sidewalk, and it started happening after they
What
ripped
happens
Well, no, we said that.
I'd definitely go with the 2500.
So you use actually walkway, sidewalk is
And the grass there too is really, I mean, it gets flooded too, it's not bad, but that's where it comes from.
if any of you just, I can take a look at it, but when it's raining, if you see, take some pictures and point out where the area is. I gotta send it out.
Okay.
All right.
Any other issues? Any other?
I just want to make a recommendation about locks. You know, we put the key card locks in the bathroom, so we no longer need that key, but we still have the key deadbolt on this inner gate, which there's no reason I can think of why we need it.
For the pool?
The gate to the pool. When that lock was put on, there was no gate out here. Now you have to have a key to get in, the key card.
Right.
So why would we need this lock?
We have to make sure it's not, is that a city ordinance?
I think all we need on there is that childproof lock.
But you've got a lock, it's for kids.
Right, you just need a childproof lock, you don't actually need a key lock. So now, I mean, if we get away with that, we would no longer have to worry about that key, and like a lady got locked in here.
Yeah, we can just take that lock and it shouldn't be a problem.
Let's make sure we're.
Then we wouldn't have to worry
If
about.
the city
that
doesn't
key.
mandate it, then I don't see any reason why.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just,
What is she
it
doing
has to
here?
self-close and the childproof.
Somebody locked it and she didn't have a key.
And that exit gate wasn't working for a while, she couldn't get out.
Yeah, 'cause there was only one, I think on 2 days where we had to took out the locks on the other end because, the couple there, the locks in order and it was wrong time. But right now, she should be able to get out on the other
Yeah, so
side.
the only reason that was put on is originally there was no gate out here. And now, there's just really no need for it.
Anything else?
I have a question. Last month at the meeting, when we were having the meeting, there was something happened out at the exit gate, and that gate got damaged. Did we get a bill on that? And
We got the bill of $800. We sent the bill to this company called the Hurricane Shutter. And I'm dealing with the insurance company as we speak.
an insurance company?
Yeah, they're gonna go ahead through their insurance company and I'm pretty much calling them every week. I called them today too.
That's an automobile coverage company?
They can go through either automobile or I think they're going through their company liability insurance. It's a company called the Insurance Company. I got their policy numbers, I got their insurance broker's information. That's who I'm calling right now.
Because I know that repair was made.
Yeah, we did repair it because it's an emergency situation. We repaired it next day.
But it's not a new post, it's a repaired post.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it's as good as a new post or not.
It shouldn't be a problem. The post is, they came in and they just, they did a really good job and
I saw what
they
you did.
repaired it like right away. So we haven't had any problems since then.
Why can't we swim after dusk?
Because we don't want you to get drowned.
Why?
Why?
It's not,
Don't have a lifeguard.
It's just, it's
Liability.
It's a
liability issue, guys.
issue.
It's a liability issue. I mean, during the daytime, people may be able to see you, but you're swimming at night. If you get a heart attack, if you get drowned, if you get, I don't know.
If you slip and fall.
you get out on a cold day when you're the only one
It
swimming.
is a liability issue.
That's when the alligator comes in from the lake anyway.
Does our insurance
So we
cover
should do
safety
that.
camps?
A lot of people would like to use that.
You might want to ask them first.
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Before you answer it.
It's liability.
Our insurance company does not say we can't.
Do it.
But
Yeah, they
because-
will.
And there are lights out there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's lights in the pool.
Wait a minute, that's a board decision, James, that's not your decision.
Oh, yeah. But until now, board has, your rules say no,
But it's a board decision, it's not your decision.
So maybe we have to bribe on the
He
board.
snuck away in the sewer.
The homeowners want the ability to swim after dark.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
James,
On a warm night.
What about the people who live around the pool?
Yeah.
It's very common.
What's the liability factor? That's my concern. I don't
Yeah,
get
there
the-
isn't any.
There isn't.
There isn't any more than
As long as you have
people
your
swimming in
signs
it
up.
during the day.
You just
You're
have
on
to
your
have your
own, I
signs
mean,
up.
really.
I mean, we can have
The
those.
sign-
Pool isn't gonna fall,
It's just like
kids
kids
get hurt.
Why are there kids in the jacuzzi during the day? You walk out there, you got 3-year-olds,
There's no
2-year-olds,
lifeguards here to.
1-year-olds. I mean, you got diapered babies in the pool and in the jacuzzi area.
That's right now.
Somebody's gonna get, somebody's gonna have problems. We're gonna get sued. Most of them are either renters or
10 o'clock is
or
fine,
whatever.
you know,
I don't want
possibly
that
that's at 8
liability.
o'clock.
If I get
Or
up
10
any
o'clock,
earlier,
9 o'clock, something like that.
I'd say from,
So are we gonna have lights on them all night long? Because people are gonna be able to swim out there all night long?
It appears the homeowners want to have swimming after dusk.
I think we want, you can't walk around out there at night and their lights on, that's a big liability.
Then the issue will come back up, is all the noise, and then is
There's a lot of, well, who's policing it now?
They're just pumping.
I know, if you wanna go swim after dark.
Who's policing it? I know this is
Bob, I've been
parties.
here. I usually come out here at night and I lock it up, I lock the bathrooms up, I lock this up.
And they're keeping me up because it's cool, I have my windows open, and all I'm hearing is screaming and yelling, I'm hearing young voices that sound like kids. So then I'm concerned, oh, they're gonna trip and fall and sue us. So I've had to call the police a couple times.
So have I.
You know, how many times, I usually lock it up at night. How many times I walk up here and they're just kids by themselves? I'm talking about 5, 7, 8-year-old kids, and maybe one 12-year-old.
For the few responsible adults that want to use the pool,
Yeah.
the problem is you open that up for unintended consequences of irresponsible adults that will drink that'll be here, but you also open it up to many teenagers that want to bring their friends in here from outside the complex, and then you have other issues. We've had problems several years ago for those owners that remember how we've had multiple problems of teenagers and other people having alcohol parties at the pool. We don't want to open up another Pandora's box again. So although I would love to come occasionally at the pool at night, I don't want to open up that Pandora's box again. So we decided, as the majority of owners, to close it off at dusk for that reason. And I think the good of the many outweigh the good of the few of the one. So I think we should continue our current rules.
Well, why don't we just let the homeowners have keys? And the responsible homeowners that want to use it can use the.
But you get,
key.
we can't do that. It's not that, I've been out there, we had, there's kids from
No, I know.
Amsterdam here.
You have
Guys,
cutoff.
even with the rule at dusk,
They're
what's
still
to keep
going
the
in there
kids
right now,
out?
those people are still
You know,
going in.
if we
That's
change
right.
it to 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, what's the difference between having that and a rule at dusk? There's nobody policing it anyway.
Well, no,
There's a community-wide program actually that
Kicking
does that.
people out. I know that for a fact, I know
I
Bob.
kick them out.
I know Bob's come to me and we've come together, we've
Look, there's
We've
plenty of
constantly
times I'd like
shagging
to
people
go
out.
sit in the hot
Not
tub
now
after I
as
put my
much
son to
since
bed, and I
those
can't do
doors,
that.
since the gates have been closed. We don't see that much
You can't do
traffic.
that at Heritage Ponds and most of the other places.
We have a rule.
Oh, at night they close up all the.
You know what, the concern that a lot of people have told me when I talk to them is that, you know, quite a few people work here. And in the wintertime, when it gets dark, you know, really soon, really early, okay? Well, by the time, well, it's like, you know,
So you get done with dinner, you put the
By the
kids in
time she
bed.
gets here, it's already dusk and she can't like use the facilities for quite some time, okay? Now, I've been to other places where the 10 o'clock is the limit, okay? 10 o'clock. They don't really have more problems, any more problems, than they do, you know, closing it at 6 o'clock, say. You know, so it's something that maybe we should look at and, you know, see how everybody feels. I see what the concern is, but you know what? We have to take responsibility ourselves. If somebody's drinking here and say, hey, you know, you can't drink.
Teenagers out.
It's like the other day, the kids over there took one of those big poles and they were swinging at each other, you know, playing in a pool. And I said, put that thing back. You're not supposed to do that. You know, they kind of look at me like they're surprised. Well, we have to, you know.
Yeah, we definitely have to police that and make sure that the people are being
Right, but we
responsible.
have to take responsibility on ourselves to do that if we are going to have a few more.
Couple hours, you know.
I sent out an
One
email to
person doing something
someone
wrong
in the
with it.
community that I basically said, you know, if you see something that doesn't look right, say something. And this guy was like, oh, I don't feel comfortable doing that. I feel comfortable doing that, and I'm not a guy.
I tell you what, one night I
I
called
mean,
kids, they
come on.
jumped the fence, they were sitting back there drinking bottled beer. Now, bottled beer. Two teenage kids sitting back there at the pool, and I said, you know, all the things, I don't care about drinking beer, that's your prerogative, but bottled beer around a pool is a no-no.
But you know what, it's how you approach these people. It's like just going up and saying, you know what, we really don't permit like drinking bottled beer here. Would you please not do it?
Just put no beer down, that's it.
Yeah, if I'm working out, before I leave, I tell the people, I say, would you mind turning everything off before you leave? And they say, sure. It's just a suggestion. You just make the suggestion. You don't want to fight with them, you know, you just say, hey.
Be non-confrontational.
Do we want to try changing the time to 8 o'clock at night, and see what happens?
10.
That's not much.
Oh, not 10, absolutely
9
not.
o'clock,
We
it'll be
can't do
dark
that.
when you know.
9
o'clock?
Yeah.
8
Just have a
o'clock,
fixed
plenty
time.
late enough.
8 o'clock is not
Wait a
gonna be
minute.
late enough.
Yeah, 8
I
o'clock.
work, I don't get home till 6:30.
There is a flight time, the flight time begin at 8 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
I know, 9 o'clock.
In certain places.
I'd go with 9.
I'm
gonna pick a happy medium.
We have a lot of young people
It's
that
about
live
those
here now,
kids
it's a
that are
lot.
coming up, little
That was
kids
the wrong
that are getting in the
Like us.
jacuzzi,
I'm
and then
in bed at
kids
9
that are getting in
o'clock.
the pool
These
with
kids are-
diapers.
Yeah.
We don't have a kiddie pool.
But
So I
listen,
don't know how we're
that's a
allowing
parenting
kids
issue.
Are they
to
wearing
get
swim
diapers.
diapers? Because there are swim diapers.
Right, you know, but these are parenting issues. If you're addressing it with the teenagers and the kids, you're really not gonna get that far. You gotta find out who the homeowner is, and go after the homeowner.
First of all, if you see kids by themselves,
Okay?
you gotta tell them to get up, you gotta go.
And no, not only that, if they're gonna jump the wall, they're gonna jump the wall whether you close it at
Right.
4 or you close it at 10. They're gonna
Right.
jump the wall, and they probably don't even live here.
Call the police.
So, I mean, you gotta take all that into consideration, but don't try to discipline somebody else's child,
No,
go
that's
after
not
the
gonna
adult.
work. That's
And
not-
all I'm saying is I'd like to get into the hot tub after I put my son
Exactly.
to bed and relax.
I'll make a motion that we keep the pool open until 9 o'clock.
Is that good with everybody, 9
Is
o'clock?
there a second?
I second it.
I'll third it.
Because I'd like to make sure for a fact that it's not a liability issue with the insurance. I'd like to get.
No.
It's not a liability.
Yeah, it's not liability.
They're saying.
Once people drown, then it's a liability.
Not
Yeah.
any different than we got in the
I think we should.
What do our documents say?
Documents don't say anything.
Your rules and regulations
I think it
says
should
it's
be
on
checked.
to DOS, but again, the rules can be changed by the
Oh,
board
that's-
member.
That's what we're in the process of doing.
Don't you need to have an owners meeting to change the rules and regulations or documents? You need to have
Change
a,
the
you have a
bylaws,
owners
to
meeting.
change the bylaws, you do not change pool rules.
No, rules and regulations, not pool rules, rules and regulations,
No,
because it's not
no,
a pool
you
rule,
don't-
it's in
you
the
don't
rules and
need-
regulations.
You don't need a meeting of the homeowners to change
No,
rules.
No, we're not talking pool rules, it's in the rules and regulations of
Well,
the
here's-
association.
It's not the documents then.
Why don't we do
It's not
some
the document.
research
No,
and
it's
come
not.
back next month?
Exactly.
Yes,
And then the weather will be
That's
warmer
good.
anyway, and then you'll have the whole
Well,
summer.
there's a
to-
motion up in.
Table
it
for 30 days.
Yeah, withdraw your motion.
It'd be late. till
No,
us.
actually,
I don't want to, I
No.
I want to vote on the
Into the
motion.
hot tub.
okay, you guys confused right now. There's a declaration. That's where your HOA document, HOA declaration. That is where you need the homeowner's approval to change it, okay? What we are doing is just a regular rules and regulation, rules and regulation can be made by the board members. They have a right to change the rules and regulation. Not the declaration. Declaration, you need the homeowner's vote. It's two different things.
But is it consistent, is what I'm asking?
Your declaration doesn't say anything about the dogs to dogs.
Then we're fine. Okay?
And are we also gonna look at the?
So you got 200 some odd owners here, and 3 people say they want to do that. That's okay? Is that okay with you?
Right now.
You got 219 owners, right? I'm just explaining this to you.
Yeah.
Okay? You got 219 owners, and what you're telling me, this guy, this person, 3 or 4 out of that you know of, right? How many, raise your hands in here, that want to switch it?
They're not switching it.
Okay? Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I'm saying to the board is, you're saying you have the right to change that.
Yes.
Okay, and there's only a handful of people in this whole, out of all the owners, you have a right to change that? When there's only 3, no, you gotta do what's the best for all of them. I'm not disagreeing with you that you can change them or not. I'm just saying, you gotta do what's best for everybody, not just for 3 or 4 people.
You gotta have a show of hands of who wants what.
That's how you're here for us too, dude.
But they're not here.
You know what I mean? I don't care if you change, I'm not saying don't change the rule. I'm just saying, you have to do what's right for everybody, not for a handful of people. That's why you're here.
So,
Don't shake your head, dude.
I'm gonna go use the hot
Dude,
tub.
don't shake your head at me.
Okay.
Okay.
let's
No.
calm down. Let's-
Look at him right there, your board member shaking his head at me.
Alright. Calm
Okay,
down,
calm down.
calm
Can I say
down.
something?
Yeah.
To respond to your point, you are making a very vehement statement for yourself and
No,
2 or
not for
3 other
myself.
no, wait a minute,
I
wait a
just
minute.
said,
There are an equal number of people in this room that are shaking their heads that they want it extended.
Well, let's have a show.
Well, let's have a show of hands. A vote, that's the way it should be.
It's not a vote.
A vote, a show of hands, who wants it, who doesn't want
Take a
it.
show of hands to see what happens, what you will
Mr.
not
President,
make the
you have the
decision
floor.
based on that necessarily.
Showing hands is a vote, Don.
I didn't say
Yeah,
that.
but you can't,
Never mind.
That's not what I said.
Alright, hold on.
Ma'am,
My
my
feeling
suggestion.
is to table it because daylight savings time just occurred, it's staying lighter later. Until June 21st, the days are gonna continue to get longer and longer. That we can table it and do more research and find out what everybody wants. Because I'm against it, because I live across the street and because of how many times I've had to call the police. Because I know what goes on in the school at night.
But I never had the opportunity to get into the pool at night.
Motion to table is on the floor.
No, their motions first.
Motion to table precedes all other motions, Robert's Rules of Order.
the motion hasn't been seconded.
Motion to
The
table
motion has
precedes
not been
all other
seconded,
orders.
Robert's Rules of Order.
I'll second that.
You can't, sir, you can't.
It's a board meeting.
Good
Still have
try.
to do what's right for the whole
May I make a
community.
suggestion?
Right now, there's a motion on, go ahead.
We're still in discussion.
of people don't use
I'm one of the people that would like to see the pool open later, but I agree with him. It needs to be, we need to involve the community for something as important as this.
Yes.
And I think that we should send out something to the homeowners.
So what is
And-
the rule gonna be?
Well, how-
2/3?
how important
We
is
have,
it to
that's
keep the
the
pool
next
open another
vote.
hour?
What's gonna take,
We'll take
what's
a
gonna
major-
make it
The board has
pass?
The
chosen
board
to make
can
these
decide
decisions.
that, you can make
Board-
it a majority.
That's why we
if
elected
you
the
want.
board, is to make these
Okay,
kind of decisions.
Yeah, they've chosen to make the
Right.
right
Hold on.
decision for the whole community.
That's what they
do.
do, they're the
Right.
board.
Hold on a second.
But we definitely want to take into consideration people's,
Yeah.
people's feelings and people, you know, what people want.
Exactly.
I don't swim at night, so it doesn't bother me one way or another, but I do care that there aren't parties late at night by people that don't live here.
Thank you, Roberto.
And remember, we're talking 9 o'clock, not midnight.
Yes, 9
We're
o'clock at
talking
night.
9 o'clock.
It's like going 70
No
miles an
wonder.
hour, everybody goes 85.
Alright, so we have the Don made the motion, anybody seconded it?
I don't care.
Eric seconded it,
It's not
so-
their make decisions.
We had discussion on it.
Discussion on it?
I motion to table, but there's no second.
There is a second.
No, not-
Second, yeah.
Not today.
Not the table.
Yeah. We have a second?
You have a second? I can't. So we're making a motion to table.
To table it, this way we can get more information, see what the homeowners really want.
Okay.
And right now, I don't think dusk is an issue because daylight savings, it's getting longer and
Well,
longer.
what do you do in January?
But you can't have it.
It's not a matter of
We're
dusk,
having
it's a matter of
another
people
meeting.
that work.
I'm saying let's table it till April. Right now, it's kind of decided.
We should be finishing us for a couple of criminals.
Yeah. I'm
I think that's my side. That's the problem, you always punish another one and let the criminal.
There ain't gonna be enough people around for next meeting.
No, you gotta take a vote on the table.
We need to do it by
All in
either
favor, all in
mail.
favor, all in favor on the table? Table it to next month.
Motion's tabled.
Table to next month. We're tabling this till next month, we'll get more information and then we'll make a decision.
What is the information that you want?
I want to see that what the pools in the other area, and I also want to feel the community.
Will you,
So when
will
you
you,
send a letter out.
Joan, will you head the committee to look into things and report back to us?
Okay.
And if we
Joan's gonna
send
look
out a
into that.
letter, and we'll see how many people respond.
No, we just, she's gonna head it, and then she's gonna either do some research, or if we have to send out a letter, we'll send out a letter.
I have a question. What is the procedure on bulk garbage disposal?
What?
So if I need to throw out, say, a grill, what do I, just put it by the dumpster? I mean,
No.
I don't feel right about doing that.
That goes hand in hand with putting mattresses by the dumpster.
Okay, so what,
you
so
know.
what would I do?
You have to call the city.
Yeah.
Sorry, call the
You have to
city?
call the city of Fort Myers, and you know if they can come and pick it up.
They will do it if you call them.
You call them.
They do it.
Yeah, but who pays for
But
that?
you gotta call.
Association or the homeowner?
No, they don't know, they come and get it.
Actually,
They
they
do.
do pick it up, I don't think, I don't.
I mean, they're not gonna come out every day, is
No,
what
but
they tell
if
you.
They have certain
You have to
times.
give them a time frame. and
If you
they'll
were
give you
able to
time.
walk around and tell everybody that there's a big, you know, when you let
There's, yeah, there's
the
a
city know,
pickup.
they'll come in and do it.
Okay.
They don't charge you nothing for it.
Bulk pickup.
I
I have
have
stuff too.
I have stuff that's gonna be going out by April 6th, which is
April 6th?
Saturday. I'm taking some stuff to a flea market that I'm going to, and whatever I don't take or sell, I'm gonna be throwing.
They just don't wanna come in every day.
Yeah.
So
We
let me
can't
call
put,
them
we
tomorrow.
can't put all that bulk stuff in our contract,
No,
but that's
no, I
costing us
understand
money,
that. Yeah,
a lot of money, and then people are just piling that on, they're putting all kinds of
I've
stuff.
seen that. That's
They
just
can't even put the
terrible.
boxes in the recycle, bin. I mean, they just leave it there, they don't wanna cut it up or flatten it out or do anything like that. So to add, it's not fair to people that live around the, you know, the recycle bin or the compactor, so.
Oh, I don't have a problem. I just wanna know what the right thing is.
Well, I'm gonna call tomorrow and see when they can come, and then we can put
If we wanna make one
a
big
sign
one,
in the
I
thing.
Make one
I
big
have
sign,
no problem
Where are
with
we
that.
gonna put it?
Well, no, if they're gonna
No,
make
they
one,
come on
they're saying, let's say they're coming in on Monday,
Yeah.
You just leave it.
and
put
then
it
we
out
notify
there
all the
Sunday
people,
night.
hey, there's gonna be a big pickup, we can
They
just,
leave it on the curb.
I think it's
Leave it
right in
right
front of
at
the
the end of your
dumpster.
driveway.
Right
they're
there,
gonna-
yeah, they're gonna need a pad, so it would
I
have to
think
be,
it's probably
yeah,
in
they're
front
gonna
of
need
the
a
dumpster. It's
pad, so
probably
it would
the
have to be by
location.
the dumpster.
I just get it all out there on Sunday night, and everyone's pick it up Monday.
But it can't be like the Christmas trees, when everybody comes in at all different times and just drop a Christmas tree for 2 months later.
Yeah.
So I'll call them and see what procedures they have.
Okay, and you have my number. I'll be happy to.
All right, look into that, let us know, and if you can, when you find information, post it on the website.
Okay.
So everybody knows that here, this is what's happening. Then we
And I'm gonna
get,
put a notice in where we put the agenda,
yes,
because it's coming soon.
well,
Get over there.
you- I would suggest that you
No,
follow up
not
on
this
it.
week, so I can make these calls.
Okay, follow up on that and go, we can do that. Is there anything else, I mean, I know we've gone off topic, but if not, we're gonna adjourn the
Are we
meeting.
making a
Make a motion to adjourn.
How about
Yes.
the next meeting?
Don't have to decide that tonight.
Yeah, hold on, one more
It's a
question.
small one. While you're on the dumpster situation, as you know, we are the bench sitters. I see a lot. I know a lot. There are a lot, not just one or two, a lot of people taking their cars and their trucks,
Was they
totally
supposed to
coming
discuss
up on
my
the grass,
Was they
where
supposed
the
to
irrigation
discuss my?
system is, to fill out the dumpster. They're too lazy to either park on the concrete or to walk in the street. I don't know if that's damaging the area or not. I just wanted to let you know, maybe pass the word, they need to stop that.
Can we maybe talk to the landscapers about the big hole that's right there too? Right by the curb?
Say again?
There's a big hole, right, probably from people,
Is it called?
tires ripping up the grass, but there's a big hole at the corner of the grass and the sidewalk
So
by the
Breaking
dumpster.
everything.
Russ,
Yeah, it's just,
running out.
yeah, the grass is not there any longer and it's just muddy.
Yeah, and that's, a lot of it that was caused by a lot of the contractors.
Yeah, that's probably.
So, it's, and now that they're gone, we can't do with them anymore. Hopefully,
Right.
hopefully they're gone.
Hopefully we can get, you know,
Are
Are they gonna put, speed bumps in?
Oh, that would be lovely.
We considered that before, and I think we're, not now, but we're gonna probably look into that later on.
I tell you what though, I have seen
Not a lot of them,
I've seen a big difference since the white paint was put down. I noticed that there's more people stopping because of that white paint than what would be with speed bumps. And I mean, there's a lot of people stopping.
Are we gonna make a motion?
Because I back out.
We'll take care of it.
They go around the corner.
What about
I've seen you
speed
back up.
in the development? I mean, I see people whipping around the
Signs
corners.
don't help. People are gonna speed and.
Shoot the tires out.
We are looking
You
at
ever
that
look at
15
speed
miles
bumps?
I think that's something that, a little further down, we got other things that we definitely need to address. One is the parking situation.
So then they roll over into somebody's home.
Okay, but that's somewhere
10 miles an hour.
Most of the people are.
They get 30 by the time they get up to this stop sign.
I just don't wanna see somebody.
The speed bumps are like this, and they tear up your kidneys, but the speed humps are just a little, it that doesn't deter me, if people still gonna fly
I just don't
over.
wanna see somebody get killed, and, you know, I'm out there walking the dog a lot, and
All right,
Duke said Duke would like, before he leaves, Duke and Barry wanted to stand up tonight and do the Eagles dance. They wanted to do the Eagles dance to wish the Gulf Coast boys good luck Friday night.
all right, there's a motion to adjourn.
Right, Duke?
Second, all in favor? Adjourn. 8:25.
Get out of here, I don't want to hear about
I gotta pick up all their stuff.